Hello, this is Joe Neville and welcome to another Aruba IPv6 video. This is part 2 of 2 in which I look at an Aruba AP being deployed in an IPv6 only network. In part 1, I looked at stateful and stateless DHCPv6 for address allocation combined with DHCP options to send the DNS server address and the DNS search list so that the AP could query the DNS server and find its local controller, which I should say is the recommended method. And in this video, I'm going to look at an alternative approach, which is to use again a DHCP option 52. It's called CapWap AC IPv6, I believe, is one of the titles for it. Essentially, I've been calling it CapWap, even though it's not the CapWap protocol. It's a way of, via a DHCP option, to send, rather than a DNS server and a search list, we send just the address of the controller. Now, I've written this up in my document, which is up on github.com. So in this video, I'm going to look at using that option for controller discovery using stateful and stateless DHCPv6. Here's my network then, same as before. So up on VLAN 50, this network is dual stacked. That's where the mobility master controller and the DHCP DNS server sit. Then we have our gateway and the AP sits on VLAN 60, which is v6 only, and it's 2001 DB8 A60/64. Now, the document on GitHub contains the details of the process and the steps that we need to take. I'll just go through the summary then. So the AP will boot, sends the DHCPv6 solicit, which will be forwarded on by the local gateway using the IPv6 helper address. The server will respond with a /128 and the option 52, which is the CapWap AC-IPv6. One of the drawbacks of this actually is that you can only send one, or rather I should say that the AP will only learn one address for a controller via this method, whereas if you use the DNS options, the option 23 and 24 that I showed in the last video, you can have multiple controllers in the response to the DNS query. So after the AP receives the option 52, it will use the address that it learns in the option to try to contact the controller and then negotiate the IKE and build the IPsec tunnel, etc, etc. Okay, so first of all, what we need to do then is to set up our DHCP v6 server for this option. So this is a Windows 2019 again, same setup as before. I've already created the scope here, so it's 2001 DB8 A60. You can see the properties there. It's a /64. What I need to do then is I click on here, so IPv6, right click, and it is set predefined options, and we have this drop down list here. If I go to the bottom, so we don't have the one that we need, so option 52. What we do is we need to add this in. So we'll call it -IPv6, and data type is a v6 address. It's an array and the code is 52. So that's now set, or okay that. That's just to create it on the DHCP server. What we now need to do is actually attach that to the scope. So I'll go to scope options, configure options, and it should be, there we are at the bottom there. I'll click that. So I don't need to do 23 and 24 for this. I don't need to have the DNS entry for Aruba master or any of that. It's simply this very direct. We set the, so it's 50, the controller address. Add that in there, apply that. Fine. That should be okay to go. Let's drop that down. Same setup as before. I should show you actually. This is the configuration of the interface. So it's stateful that we're doing first of all. That's why I've set up the scope on the DHCP server, and also why I have the managed flag and I have set the prefix to be sent, but no auto config, so the AP will not use Slack. It will just a DHCPv6 solicit here. As you can see there, no v4, same as before. Right, over here, this is going to be the console for the AP. What am I missing? Wireshark. Okay, let's reset that. Okay, so this is going to be the console for the AP. Okay, let's go ahead and plug in the Ethernet to the AP. The AP is going to boot there. Same again, purge, save, and boot. Okay, so I'll jump ahead now. Oh, actually, but while that's going, what I'll show you let's go to Mobility Master. So you can see I don't have any access points on here, just one controller. Okay, as the AP's booting, I've got an array in, which is always worth having a look at. As you can see, manage flag, and we've got the prefix there for the on-link flag, but the A flag is off, so Slack will not be used on this network. Okay, this is where it starts to get interesting. And there we see the DHCP. Okay, across here you can see the IP address that it's picked up, and it knows the master address. So that's where it will start to attempt to build the tunnel to. Okay, let's drill into the solicit then. If you remember from before, in the first video, I showed you that the AP asks for everything. It asks for the DNS, the search list, and the CAPWAC access controller. So it asks for 52, but it only needs these two or this. It doesn't need everything. Now, if we look at the response, there we have the address coming through, so it ends 61A9. You can see over there 61A9, and here we have the CAPWAP controller address as I configured it, and that's used by the AP here. Then we've built the tunnel, and I think we should see, yeah, there's the tunnel being formed. If I jump back over to Mobility Master, there we are, we've got our access point. It's my 205, and I should have WLAN. So yeah, I've set one up for DHCP52. Now I should be able to jump on to the new SSID and get an IP address. There we go. So 2001 DB8A60, and because it's DHCPv6 assigned, we just have the single IPv6 address. Okay, let's move on to the second design then, which will be DHCPv6 stateless with CAPWAP. First, I'll reconfigure the switch. So the other flag is on, and the prefix is being sent with the A flag for Slack. If we look at the final design then, very much the same as before. We've got the solicit being sent, but then the AP will receive the other flag and it will send an information request. That's one of the key differences here, CAPWAP being the same, but we're going to have to put it at a different level. So the switch is good. Let's go over to our server. which is here. I need, let's delete that. Actually, I'll delete that whole scope. Let's get rid of that. So now we're in server options. I hope we've got the, yeah, there we are. We don't need to create it again. Just put that in. Now we're at the server level. What I'll do is I'll skip ahead because it's the same process as before. It's going to be a purge of the environment, save, boot the AP, and then we'll look at the Wireshark captures coming in. We have an RA then. Here it is. Bring this up. What are we expecting? So we've got the other configuration, good. And we have the A flag and the L flag set, and there's our prefix. So we are expecting a solicit and then an information request once the AP has booted, so which is imminent. Bring that across. We've got the information request asking for the options. There we've got the reply. The reply, of course, has got our option 52. There we are. So there's the controller. And over on the console, you can see it's got its IP address, which is via Slack. And we have our master, so our controller, : 30. All being good then, we'll soon start to see, there we are, the tunnel being built. Jump over to Mobility Master, and we've got the access point there. And just as before, it should, there we are, 52. Join that. Let's try an ifconfig. And there we are. Because it's Slack, we have the two prefixes, a temporary and a secured, according to MacOS. Okay, so that was using stateful and stateless DHCP and the CapWap AC IPv6 approach to allow the AP to discover its controller. As I mentioned at the beginning of the video, the recommended approach is to use the DNS options 23 and 24 rather than this option 52, but it is an approach that you can use and does seem to work well, even though you can only send the address of a single controller. I'll be back soon with more Aruba IPv6 videos, but that's all for now. If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up. If not so much, give it a dislike. That's fine. Thanks very much for watching. If you want to leave a comment, please do. We do love to hear from you. And if you really like the video, please do subscribe. It makes a huge difference to us. But that's all for now. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Joe Neville, and goodbye.